Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. So in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the sea surface temperature chart, specifically this region in here, and you're going to find out why in a second. So let's get into today's video. As you can see, we have this is the waters along the equatorial Pacific, and as you can see, they're pretty well above average right now. And then we also have this region we're going to be talking about in a minute, and it's so first of all, we're gonna be talking about the um this the INSO, that's right, El Nino. We're gonna be looking at its effects because as you can see, currently we are in a El Nino phase about because we're above zero point 0.5 above normal degrees Celsius in the equatorial Pacific. Um, As you can see, it's forecasted to continue to rise here, and it's forecasted to peak throughout the fall months into the early winter, and we're still going to be in a relatively nice El Nino through the rest here, and the potential for a very strong El Nino, obviously, like we were saying, peaks around early winter, fall, and then it kind of really goes down. So as you can see, we have this kind of peak here during the fall and early winter. Although we still have a relatively nice El Nino here at the moderate or strong El Nino, a relatively nice El Nino here continuing through the entire winter. So we're gonna take a look at what exactly that means. So and how we can like apply it to weather. So this is kind of a El Nino effects. As you can see, from June through August, it really doesn't affect it much. We have wetter uh, northwest here, really. We also have a dry and warm Caribbean here. Now, this will limit when hurricanes through. This will really limit hurricane activity in the Gulf, especially. And really anywhere in general, because a lot of times we see in the main development region and also in the Caribbean is where we see storms form often. Here in this little bay right here is a hot spot as well. It was a hot spot last year. And then in the winter months, we see the southern United States actually being wet and cold, while the northwestern United States being warm as well as the northeast. So really the south is the predominant area for winter weather during a El Nino pattern. Also, we have another thing called the quasi-bicentennial oscillation. This is the winds around the equator. And as you can see, it started out in the easterly phase and it moved into the westerly phase, and now it's shifting back to the easterly phase. When the QBO is in its easterly phase over here, that is more favorable for snowfall, things like that. So if it's in its westerly phase right now and it's shifting to the easterly phase, actually, you guys can disregard anything I said about if it moving this way being easterly, because I'm still figuring out how to read these graphs. But all I know is right now it's in the westerly phase, and we're gonna look at some of the impacts that has. So, a westerly QBO has a stronger polar vortex, and as you can see, so what happens? The westerly QBO allows wind to flow faster around the equator. As you can see here, we have the United States. And then here we have the equator, the wind flowing west to east, so we would call that westerly. And then the strong polar vortex, because this kind of really strengthens it, and it doesn't really allow it to flow that far south. So the polar vortex, the Arctic air is being confined up here into the Arctic Circle, up in this area. But in a easterly QBO, it flows from east to west. And as you can see, the polar vortex is quite weaker here, and this will allow for more cold shots out east, especially east. And if we have a easterly QBO, which currently it's westerly, but hopefully it cycles back to easterly, because I'm a snow lover, but hopefully it cycles back to easterly. And then if we also have another thing I want to talk about is the PDO, the Pacific Decadal Oscillation. And if we have colder temperatures in this region, which we do currently, although it's not insanely positive here, and then we have warmer temperatures in these regions here, and we have colder temperatures in these regions, and we would call that a positive PDO. And this would allow for colder winters in the east, generally less snow and a bit more mild in the west. And so if we have El Nino, which as you saw allowed for colder and wetter conditions here, and we also have if we also had this here, the positive PDO, and then we also have the easterly QBO, if everything aligns right, then that would align perfectly for a southern United States to have a much colder and much snowier winter. But as of now, we can see we do have a El Nino currently. It's relatively strong here, especially in there. Although, another thing I want to point out about the hurricane season, the Northeast probably won't get that much activity this time. Also, the main development region in here is experiencing some colder than average temperatures, so that can inhibit some hurricane development. The Gulf and the Caribbean are not that much above normal, actually, at all. About 1 degree above. And even some pockets here in the Southwest Caribbean are below average. And we also have the areas across, the Northeast, like I mentioned earlier. So overall, if you took an average of all these sea surface temperatures in this circle, so basically the Atlantic, North Atlantic, you would probably end up with something below average, but just because of the Northeast. But even if you took something from right here, you would end up with something near average, I would say, because of this. Also, just look at how strong that El Nino is. It extends all the way out towards even Papua New Guinea potentially, and it's really strong. Although this is a really weakly positive PDO currently, because as you can see, the cold air is not that strong currently. The cold water, I should say, it's not that strong. Although the warmth is pretty strong here and here. So this is somewhat of a positive PDO. Although the only thing that needs to line up now for a really snowy winter, although I know this is a long way out, so just don't really take this as a forecast or something that will absolutely happen. I just want to say that because this is still just me talking about it right now this far out, keeping you guys ahead of everything. And obviously, I don't want you guys to get any information way too early. Like, if I was making this video back in, April, then that'd probably be a different story. But June, we're halfway through the year. We're about 5 to 6 months away from winter. Not that long. And with these long-range stuff, you gotta understand with these long-range stuff like this, you can get somewhat of a general idea, although I'm not going to issue a more regional forecast until the time comes closer. So thank you guys for watching today's video, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.